Yo, hello guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Melky and I'm going to continue from where I left off. It's been a long while, so I'm sorry about that. Um, but I do remember the last time I was reading over number 4, right? I was reading or I have gotten to number 4. So let's go for that. Online conduct, cheating, and process tampering. Your online conduct and interaction with other subscribers should be guided by common sense and basic etiquette. They must notably comply with the Steam online conduct rules to be found at steampower.com, index area online conduct. Let's see first what this is. I think, have I read this before? As a Steam subscriber, you agree to abide by the following conduct rules. You will not upload material information. Okay, let's read through this. I didn't remember that I've done this before. It's been a while, I'm sorry. Upload or otherwise make available files that contain images, photographs, software, or other material protected by intellectual property laws, including by way of example and not as limitation, copyright or trademark laws, or by rights of privacy or publicity, unless you own or control the rights thereto or have received all necessary consents to do the same. Okay, use any material or information, including images or photographs via Steam in any manner that infringes any copyright, trademark, patent, trade secret, or other proprietary right or of any party. What's the difference between the previous one? You will not upload software unless you owned it. Use any material that infringes copyright. I guess it's like a safe, like a conservative thing. So they say similar thing twice, just in case there's something that is distinguishable from each other. I don't like upload files that contain viruses, Trojan horses, worms, or any other similar software or programs that may damage the operation of another's computer or property of another, institute attacks upon a Steam server or otherwise disrupt Steam. Um, and then, excuse me, there's a pop-up there. And then use Steam in connection with surveys, contents, pyramid schemes, chain letters, junk email, spamming, or any duplicative or unsolicited messages, commercial or otherwise. You will not defame, abuse, harass, stalk, threaten, or otherwise violate the legal rights such as rights of privacy and publicity of others. Right. Stalking. What constitutes stalking? Right. Because sometimes, like this probably has happened a lot. Girl gamers. I couldn't imagine, like, maybe they add somebody in the game, right? And they decided that this guy only wants to date or something, and so she blocked him. I'm playing a scenario in my mind, and then he was like, you know, it's like searching for her everywhere, her social media and stuff, and find her online, her presence, doxing her, and find her mobile, like no, just like keeps on finding her in games, like figure out what game she played, and then go there and then make her uncomfortable like that. So that could constitute stalking, right? Like whenever she goes, like even playing a hentai game, probably he would be he would be there, like, dude, I don't want you to be in my hentai game. I don't like you, but you know that, and you appear anyway. Anyway, let's go on. The fame, abuse, harass, threaten, yeah, restrict or inhibit any other user from using and enjoying Steam services, software, or other content. yeah, like what do you say, like that stalker, for example. Like that girl was playing like like an RPG game, maybe, and then he would be like, he would be spamming in the chat as like like making second account and then adding her without her knowing that it's him, and then he spams while she got an achievement or something, and we go, oh wow, what a nice achievement, but no, but just keep on spamming on unpleasant messages like that, like that. Why do I know things like this? I'm being sus right now. Okay. um Harvest or otherwise collect information about others, including email address, right? So all of these creepy things, and create a false identity for the purpose of misleading. I've already talked about that. Please don't do that, kids, okay? Violate any applicable laws or regulations. This is another like kind of conservative phrases be put in the document, just so that in case that they miss something, so they put almost similar things twice. I wouldn't know, like there's got to be something because it's based on, usually the law is based on historical experiences, right? So Steam and depending on the terms of use imposed by third parties who host particular games or other services, additional requirements may also be provided in the subscription terms applicable to a particular subscription. So, for example, you install Tekken. There's also terms of use from Bandai, and if you installed like Square Enix game, they also have their own terms and conditions and stuff. For in uh, this particular context would be online conducts and interaction with other players, not all the terms and conditions, but in particular interaction with other players. Okay, and then Steam and the content services may include functionality designed to identify software or hardware processes or functionality that may give a player an unfair competitive advantage when playing multiplayer versions of any content and services, or modifications of content and services, or cheats. How is that cheating? Information about other people's hardware. You agree that you will not create cheats or assist third parties in any way to create or use cheats. You agree that you will not directly or indirectly disable, circumvent, or otherwise interfere with the operation of software designed to prevent or report the use of cheats. So this is again online conduct, cheating, right? You will not collaborate for cheating, colluding to cheat in the game, of course. Process tampering also, like you create a man in the middle or something, or probably you interrupted like the processing of the game, the rendering or something like that, um, like the internal operation of the application. So that that is again specifically being clearly stated that they don't want that. Okay, but it's important. You agree that you will not tamper with the execution of Steam or content and services unless otherwise authorized by Valve. There you go. That's the nuance right there. That's the reason. That's probably a part of the reason why they are stating this clearly. I mean, because there are cases, right? There are cases where there are gray areas. Okay, let's continue on. You acknowledge and agree that either Valve or any host of an online multiplayer game distributed through Steam or external host may refuse to allow you to participate in certain online multiplayer games if you use cheats or tamper with the execution of Steam or the content and services. Okay, like if they refuse you and you like you some people might say, look, I didn't sign up for this, right? Why are like I thought I've already done so much, and at the end of the day, you refuse me from participating just because of I do this, I do that, this small little thing or that, right? So at the purpose of being clear about this also is about so that you know upfront that you would expect upfront that even if just you do a little cheating, probably something that is supposedly innocent, as long as it is in the spectrum of what's being said just now, you would expect that you would be banned or something like that, right? You would expect the worst. You should. So they are securing that contract with us, and then you agree, acknowledge your fault. Okay. Further, you acknowledge and agree that external hosts may report your use of cheats or unauthorized process tampering to FOF, and FOF may communicate your history or of use thereof to external hosts within the boundaries of the Steam privacy policy. FOF may restrict or terminate your account or a particular subscription for any conduct or activity that is illegal, constitutes a cheat, or otherwise negatively affects the enjoyment of Steam by other subscribers. Wait a minute. May restrict. You acknowledge that FOF is not required to provide you notice before terminating your subscription and or account. Right. So it probably I could be wrong about this, but this could be saying objection hearsay, Your Honor. This could be saying that FOF is has said upfront to you that they would bring this all over the place, right? So if you cheat in one game, they could perceive you as a threat for the whole entire relationship, not only for that particular session, right? For any other games, any other instances, like we already know, like people got banned on YouTube because of a tweet, right? It's on Twitter, but YouTube took action because of that. So something like this probably, I don't think FOF is being multi multi application cross application here. It's just cross game within the Steam umbrella, but I could be wrong. You may not use cheat, automation software, bots, mods, hacks, or any other unauthorized third-party software to modify or automate any subscription marketplace process. The process of Steam account creation or otherwise interacting with or controlling the process or user interface of Steam, except to the degree expressly permitted. So a lot of interesting jargon here. I could I could feel like I understood, but again, I'd advise you guys, if you are curious about something or you notice something important, or probably you didn't notice anything, but just to be safe, consult with the professional if you want to do, especially if you want to do anything professional with Steam. Number five, third-party content. In regard to all subscription content and services that are not authored by FOF, FOF does not screen such third-party content available on Steam or through other sources. FOF assumes no responsibility or liability for such third-party content, unless to the extent provided by mandatory law. Some third-party application software is capable of being used by businesses for business purposes. However, you may only acquire such software via Steam for private personal use. In regard to all subscription content services that are not authored, FOB does not screen such third-party content unless to the extent provided by mandatory law. Some third-party is capable of being used by business. However, you may only acquire such software via Steam for private personal use. So this is like I would imagine it would it's referring it's every terms and condition referring to multiple kind of anticipation. But the one that I could imagine would be um, like some like accounting material. I do see there's an accounting material, there's a chemical material, like some educational material in Steam. I do. Is there a functionality like programming and stuff? If that is available and downloadable for Steam, that means some people are going to use that for monetization or for business purposes. Now, in that case, if the business somehow in the future face challenges and stuff, uh, Valve doesn't really want to deal with all of the risk that comes with it. It's a risky move, even though it, it's not really 100%, but it's an insurance material. You know what I mean? So that is yeah, that is the complication of putting your works out there, guys, because you know, people could use that for all kinds of purposes, and you don't really like, you don't really want to be held responsible if, for example, there's a nuclear accident or or even anything that constitutes significant damages. Yeah, I I wouldn't want that really. So guys, yeah, this legal thing is actually very important. I kind of cringe just thinking about this, guys. So again, you would know better. A lot of you would know better. Like you, like I could only know what I know. There's more knowledge in you, and there's more knowledge in everybody else that is watching this. So please share your background in the comment section. Let's go to number 6, user-generated content. Number 8, general provisions. Steam provides interfaces and tools for you to be able to generate content and make it available to other users and or to Valve at your sole discretion. Okay, something that is nice to us, right? Something that is less scary this time. User-generated content means any content you make available to other users through your use of multi-user features or Steam or to Valve or its affiliates through your use of the content and services or otherwise. Right, we provide content for Steam, right? We are contributors, we are authors, right? When you upload your content to Steam to make it available to other users and or to Valve, you grant Valve and its affiliates the worldwide non-exclusive right to use, reproduce, modify, create derivative works from, distribute, transmit, transcode, translate, broadcast, and otherwise communicate and publicly display and publicly perform your user-generated content and derivative works. Look, guys, so this is a lot of stuff that's being some kind of repetitive, but I just wanted to say the instance like, for example, you are a company and some people posted stuff in your application and it inspires you to do some kind of marketing jargon and stuff, but it's a collection of different kinds of contribution, different kinds of users. Some of these users could be Karens, right? And they're like, they're calling your company, dude, you're using my idea, my comments, right? It's just like you thought it's a casual comment, but like that user probably want to get some money out of it from you, and then you're like, dude, it's just from the top of my head. I couldn't, like, I'm reading this thing, this is my business as well, like I couldn't, like, it's just happened, it's a normal occurrence. Why would you want some kind of compensation from this? You should have expected this. It is like everybody would, like everybody, it is in the spectrum of casualties, not in the spectrum of normalities. It's just an exchange of ideas, right? You thought it was just a casual conversation as well, and it wouldn't constitute liability, but liability or obligations. But then Some people are just going to do that. So uh, put yourself in the perspective of the service provider here. It is a risk. It is like, especially there when there are a lot of, I do admit there are good Karens out there who stand up for their rights, right? And sometimes you probably could also make a mistake and violate significantly. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of instances that you don't just, it's not worth it to deal with all of the stuff. Like personally, I would be happy to be able to give thanks, to share my income to the people who actually contributed it. I think I consider that as a blessing. I consider that as an opportunity to give thanks. That means like I am in the position of continuity. And you know, sustainability or the price earnings, right? Continuity, sustainability ratio, that's profit, guys. That's profit. That doesn't have to be in the form of money, but you know, being in a circuit of continuity, that's profit, guys. So next derivative works of your user generated content for the purpose of the operation, distribution, incorporation as part of and promotion of the Steam service, Steam games, or other Steam offerings, including subscriptions. This license is granted to FOV as the content is uploaded on Steam for the entire duration of the intellectual property rights. It may be terminated if FOV is in breach of the license and has not cured such breach with 14 days from receiving notice from you sent to the attention of the FOV legal department at the applicable FOV address noted in this privacy policy page. The termination of state license does not affect the rights of any sublicenses pursuant to the sublicense granted by FOV prior to the granted by or to. The termination of state license does not affect the rights of any sublicense pursuant to any sublicense granted by FOV prior to termination of the license. What do I get this wrong? This license is granted to FOV as a consent uploaded. It may be terminated if FOV breach. The termination of said license does not affect the rights of any sublicense granted by FOV. FOV is the sole owner of the derivative works created by FOV from your user-generated content and is therefore entitled to grant licenses on those derivative works. Okay, I see. If you use FOV cloud storage, you grant us a license to store your information as part of that service. If you use FOV cloud storage, you grant us a license to store your information as part. Okay, of course. FOV may place limits on the amount of storage you may use. Okay, so the first thing about the termination, like you take down, for example, a fan art, you post a fan art in the games page. I saw that a lot in Dota 2 community page. You posted fan art and stuff. So those fan art probably could be used by Valve. Pretty likely, in my personal opinion, I could be wrong about this. Valve could use that for their online activities, including posting stuff, right? Without actually you are going to be legally entitled for compensation. And but that's a nice thing to do, right? Extra publication. Okay, regardless, when you take that off, you take off the license, but there are going to be derivative works created. So all of those derivative works is licensable by Valve to another people. Like, so people can use those derivative works for something else as well. And by you taking down that post, your original post, or terminating your license by particularly sending a letter, I actually don't see. I don't remember just by taking down that you would have terminated the license. I'm sorry about that, but I do see that you sent a letter or something. Okay. Anyway, whichever shape or form, that initial termination doesn't permeate through all of the derivatives. Okay. That is the first part. The second part is it's talking about if you use FOF cloud storage, you grant us a license to store your information as part of that service. I think this one is obvious because you store your information and stuff in the game, and you automatically you give license to FOF to store like your personal information, for example, your email, your names and stuff. I don't know. That's for another story, right? But that's not a publication license, but this is a storage license, right? It's particularly distinct. And then you grant us a license to store your information as part of that service. FOF may place limits on the amount of storage you may use. The limit of storage, it's why is it important? Um, I guess Karens like is going to be mad if they don't have enough, if FAF doesn't give them enough memories. Okay, right. Everything is about to drive off Karens. If you provide FAF with any feedback or suggestions about Steam, the content and services, or any FAF products, hardware or services, FAF is free to use the feedback or suggestions whatever, however it chooses. Okay, understand that, Karens, without any obligation to account to you. Okay, at the end of the day, that is the point, right? B, content uploaded to the Steam Workshop. Some games or applications available on Steam Workshop enabled apps allow you to create user generated content based on or using the Workshop enabled app and to submit that user generated content or workshop contribution to one or more Steam Workshop web pages. Workshop contributions can be viewed by the Steam community, and for some categories of workshop contributions, users may be able to interact with, download, or purchase the workshop contribution. In some cases, workshop contributions may be considered for incorporation by FOF or a third-party developer into a game or into a subscription marketplace. Woo, that would be a nice thing. Like I imagine if I'm a developer and FOF use my work, man, and like incorporate it. Whoa, like it's like almost like I become a false withholding tax payer. Anyway, you understand and agree that FOF is not obligated to use, distribute, or continue to distribute copies of any workshop contribution and reserve the right but not the obligation to restrict or remove workshop contribution for any reasons. Okay, yeah, more rights for me, all right. Specific workshop enabled apps or workshop web pages may contain special terms or app specific terms. Um, okay, it's for FOF. My bad, my bad. It's not for me. To restrict or remove. Okay, workshop contribution. Okay, excuse me for that. Specific workshop enabled apps or workshop web pages may contain special terms that supplement or change the terms set out in the section. In particular, where workshop contributions are distributed for a free or for a fee, app specific terms will address how. Okay, let me repeat that. Where workshop contributions are distributed for a fee, app specific terms will address how revenue may be shared. Unless otherwise specific app specific terms, the following general rules apply to workshop contributions. Listen, workshop contributions are subscriptions, and therefore you agree that any subscriber receiving contributions of your workshop contribution will have the same rights to use your workshop contribution and will be subject to the same restrictions as are set out in this agreement for any other subscriptions. All right. Notwithstanding the license described in Section 6A, FOF will only have the right to modify or create derivative works from your workshop contribution in the following cases. FOF may make modifications necessary to make your contributions compatible with Steam and the workshop functionality or user interface. And B, FOF or the applicable developer may make modifications to workshop contributions that are accepted for in-application distribution as it deems necessary or desirable to enhance gameplay or make it compatible with the workshop enabled app. So this is just synchronization, guys. It's just synchronization. So in this section, this paragraph, I want to talk about how Valve really tries to be clear that he doesn't want to own your works. He doesn't want to be the one who's going to be responsible for your work. Okay, that's pretty that's a pretty a smart move, and we should notice that because Valve really doesn't want to be associated as the creator of a work unnecessarily. Okay, it's at the first glance, for some people maybe it's nice to have a lot of intellectual properties, right? But the problem that comes with it is also huge potentially. So okay, so that's the so just synchronization for the sake of synchronization. That's all the rights that Valve wants to take. Uh, the extent of right that Valve wants to take. You may, in your sole discretion, choose to remove a workshop contribution from the applicable workshop pages. If you do so, Valve will no longer have the right to use, distribute, transmit, communicate, publicly display, or publicly perform the workshop contribution. So as soon as you remove that workshop contribution, that is like you remove the all of the licenses, most of the licenses, I believe, um, associated with it, uh, for the community. Okay, except that Valve may continue to exercise these rights for any workshop contribution that is accepted for distribution in game or distributed in a manner that allows it to be used in game. Right. And your removal will not affect the rights of any subscriber who has already obtained access to a copy of the workshop contribution. Okay, so that's again, that's the caveat there, and I think it's pretty logical, right? It for a lot of people, like naturally, if you have already taken the work, that you cannot just be just because the author wants to withdraw, that doesn't mean that you have to comply all the time. You have to be ready all the time for all of the authors of workshops exercising their rights, right? You gotta be you gotta be able to just live your life and enjoy all of these games and workshop contributions, right? And then accept where otherwise provided in app specific terms, you agree that Valve's consideration of your workshop contribution is your full compensation. Wow. And you are not entitled to any other rights or compensation in connection with the rights granted to Valve and to other subscribers. You are not entitled to any other rights. Yes. Okay. See, promotions and endorsements. If you use Steam services, for example, Steam Curators List or the Steam Broadcasting Service to promote or endorse a product, service, or event in return for any kind of consideration from a third party, including non-monetary rewards such as free games. You must clearly indicate the source of such consideration to your audience. With I've never seen this happening before, but I guess it's possible. So somebody uses Steam to endorse the product, like sponsored product. Okay. So you have to tell people that you this is a sponsored thing. Guess I could, again, whatever I said in this video is prone to mistakes, and especially because I am not a professional in this field. Next, D, representations and warranties. You represent and warrant to us that you have sufficient rights in all user-generated content to grant Valve and other affected parties the licenses described under A and B above, or in any license terms specific to the applicable workshop-enabled app or workshop page. This includes, without limitation, any kind of intellectual property rights or other proprietary or personal rights affected by or included in the user-generated content. In particular, with respect to workshop contributions, you represent and warrant that the workshop contributions was originally created by you, or with respect to a workshop contribution to which other contributed besides you, by you and other contributors, and in such case that you have the right to submit such workshop contribution on behalf of those other contributors. Okay. So like people like to use like violate intellectual properties while posting posting their programs up on sites such as this. So this could be a problem. Um, so you gotta have sufficient rights in posting this stuff. Uh, so that's that. You furthermore represent and warrant that user generated content, your submission of that content, and your granting of rights in that content does not violate any applicable contract, law, or regulation. So Valve doesn't want to be the one who has to search through all of these things and figure out and filter out mistakes and stuff. Okay, so the person that came up into my mind is actually Baumi. Okay, Baumi really likes this like this community generated applications or mods and stuff. He really enjoys playing the mod Dota 2 games and other games also. So I really recommend you, if you are interested in seeing like community creativity, Baumi's channel, and you like Dota 2, Baumi's channel is your go-to channel, guys. It is my go-to channel, and it could be your go-to channel as well. All right. Disclaimers: limitation of liability, no guarantees, limited warranty, and agreement. This section 7 does not apply to you or UK subscribers. Okay, so there's a separate license for EU or UK guys out there. For Australian subscriber, this section 7 does not include, restrict, or modify the application of any guarantee, right, or remedy that cannot be so excluded, restricted, or modified, including those conferred by the Australian consumer law. All right. So, for example, like in Australia, I'm not speaking out of experience. It's just my imagination. Okay. In Australia, I suppose there's a consumer protection law. Okay. So we know that we've read before that FAF wants to dismiss all of these obligations that possibly could latch onto them unwillfully. But there are some obligations that is by regulation, uh, every content creators must take care of. Okay, duty of care. Um, I'm not going to say something in particular. I'm just saying that's that. I'm going to give you a different context. Like for example, you have a mall, and then in the mall there's a water spill, so that's a risk of somebody getting stumbled and then hurt their head or something. So it is the duty of care. If somehow you're negligent in cleaning that off after a while for something, don't probably you are not obligated to immediately clean that up, but probably with a reasonable duty of care, you are obliged to be responsible about that to a certain extent, right? Something like that. There are things like that regulated by different customer protection in different areas. EU has its own, USA has its own, Australia has its own. So this further reading in the future, we're going to see something like that. Um, in terms of software, probably the duty of care, like what I could imagine, right, for FOF, like this happens to me as well. If you kept on, if there's a user, there's a user that keeps on, not actually a user, a collection of things keeps on happening in your platform, the same bad thing keeps on happening on your platform all the time, how's like people are going to think, right? How's the platform provider like YouTube, like Steam, is not being held responsible for things that are so obvious, and like they could have just banned all of these things, right? I'm not talking about spam bots. Spam bots is so hard to ban, but I'm talking about other stuff, like for example, like what already been successfully banned until now is, for example, um, like explosive related content, or for example crime related content. There's or porn, right? So content creators are going to crack down on that, and I guess that is there's the line, something like that, including in applications like this as well, something that you could imagine from me. But yeah, yeah, okay. Next, including guarantee that goods are of acceptable quality. If there is a failure of this guarantee, you are entitled to a remedy, which may include having the goods repaired or replaced or a refund. If a repair or replacement cannot be provided, or there is a major failure, you are entitled to a refund. Oh, that extends even more. That extends even more than what I anticipated. Wow, Australia, really cool. For New Zealand subscribers, this section 7 does not exclude, restrict, or modify the application of any right or remedy that cannot be so excluded, restricted, or modified, including those conferred by the New Zealand Customer Guarantees Act 1993. Under this act are guarantees which include. Wait a minute. Probably I was thinking about something that is actually allowed for things that I say. Like, probably some content creators couldn't possibly have control over if someone kind of put a sneak porn or a sneak something bad inside there. That is beyond a provider's control as well. So I could be so sorry, guys. And then from my personal experiences, like, um, I always have a problem with online shops, right? That kept on hosting this spam, or this uh, not spam, this con artists, or people who sell products that are not the way they describe. So they are conning people or catfishing for products. So I always have a problem with that. A lot of providers don't want to be responsible for things such as that. I don't like that, really. I like Australia. Australia protects me. If I'm an Australian citizen, Australia would protect me from something like that. But I do think that all content creators should really crack down on these people. Like, look, you made a false advertisement in my platform, and people have reported it to me, and I'm like, okay, you obviously have committed something wrong, and you should not do that. Stop, do that, compensate the guy, and don't do that again. I just wish that people would do something like that. But from my experiences with online shopping, the the providers of the online platform, I'm not even asking money from them. I just want them to actually penalize these people who have conned me, and they just refuse. They don't want to do anything about that. That's so, like, I could not accept that. I could not accept something like that. And then for New Zealand subscribers, this section 7 does not exclude, restrict, or modify the application of any right or remedy that cannot be so excluded, restricted, or modified, including those conferred by the New Zealand Consumer Guarantees Act 1993. Under this act are guarantees which include that goods and services are of acceptable quality, If this guarantee is not met, there are entitlements to have the software remedied, which may include repair, replacement, or refund. A remedy cannot be provided or the failure is of a substantial character. The Act provides for a refund. Right, like I said again, prior to acquiring a subscription, you should consult the product information made available on Steam, including subscription description, minimum technical requirements, and user review. Okay, so when I say like I said, I meant I have explained it before. My point of view. Okay, so prior to requiring a subscription, you should consult the product information made available on Steam, including subscription description, minimum technical requirements, and user reviews. Again, Steam wants to make sure that customers get the right information, right? They're not conned, so that is good. A. Disclaimers. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, Valve and its affiliates and service providers expressly disclaim: 1. Any warranty for the stream and content and service and the subscription, and 2. Any common law duties with regard to Steam, the content and services, and the subscriptions, including duties of lack of negligence. That's the duty. That's exactly what I was talking about Australia, and lack of workmanlike effort. Oh no, about the mall. I'm sorry. Steam, the content and services and subscription, and any information available in connection therewith are provided on an as is and as available basis, with all faults and without warranty of any kind, either express or implied, including without limitation and implied warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, or non-infringement. Okay, so people from Australia, if you are living overseas, somewhere in Asia or in another place or whatsoever, pay attention to this, okay? Because Steam doesn't want to deal with that, okay? Unless the government protects you from that. Just they've already told you upfront they don't want to deal with that, okay? No duties of care whatsoever, or something like that. Duties of lack of negligence or whatsoever. So Australians, or probably EU and US people as well, pay attention to that. And then um, either express or implied, including without limitation, the implied warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, non-infringement, any warranty against infringement that may be provided in Section 2312 of the United States Informed Commercial Code and or in any other comparable state statute is expressly disclaimed. There you go, US. I don't know what does it says. So also, there's no warranty of title, non-interference with your enjoyment, or authority in connection with Steam, the content and services, the subscriptions, or information available in connection therewith. So they are not giving you warranty that like they actually like they are um, it's just a legal jargon actually about title. I don't want to go there. And then non-interference with your enjoyment. So they're not warranting you. If there's an interference to your enjoyment, like for example, Huarang in Tekken 3, was it Tekken 3 or Tekken 2? Huarang face suddenly changes into a polygon immediately, like accidentally. That's an interference for beauty. Hwarang is actually beautiful. And then after that, Hwarang in Tekken 4 and Tekken 5 becomes not as beautiful. That is not also the obligation of Bandai. Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. Um, all right. Next. And any warranty against infringement that may be provided in Section 2. Okay, wait. Commercial expressly disclaimed limitation of liability. Where was I? Where was I? To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, neither FOF, its licensor, nor any affiliates, nor any of FOF service providers shall be liable in any way for loss of damage of any kind. Where's the enjoyment interference? Where is it? Where was it? Fi- the word non-interference with your enjoyment or authority in connection with the stream, the content and service subscription or information available in connection therewith. So information that is available in the content or in the description, there they got disclaimed. Okay, don't use it for things that are dangerous and then blame false next. Like the description is not really clear, right? It's not really like I misinterpreted the description. So Fob must be responsible for my emotional damage, right? No. Okay. B. Limitation of liability to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. Neither FOF, its licenses, nor any affiliates, nor any FOF service providers shall be liable in any way for loss of or damage of any kind resulting from the use or inability to use Steam, your account, your subscriptions, and the content and services, including but not limited to loss of goodwill, work stoppage, computer failure, or malfunction, or any and other commercial damage or losses. In no event will fault be liable for any indirect, incidental, consequential, special, punitive, or exemplary damages or any other damages arising out of or in any way connected with Steam, the content and services, the subscription, and any information available in the connection therewith, or the delay or inability to use the content and services subscription or any information, even in the event of false or its affiliates fault, tort, including negligence, strict liability, or breach of false warranty, and even if it has been advised of the possibility of such damages, this limitation and liability exclusions apply even if any remedy fails to provide adequate recompense. Okay, guys, so pretty much similar to what I talk about in the disclaimer part, but why do they make two parts of pretty much the same thing, disclaimer and limitation of liability? In my opinion, again, guys, this is not a professional opinion at all, prone to mistakes. So I'm sorry if I like, please take a grain of salt or don't use it for risky purposes. Okay. Um, in my opinion, okay, if you there's some things that could go through disclaimers. Okay, so okay, you're deemed to have uh, sometimes for some certain cases. I'm not going to try to think about it for now. um, yeah, you cannot disclaim that. You cannot disclaim that. But are you? How much is it that you are liable? Like you have to pay. Okay, if you disclaim the liability, um, you could probably still like, okay, I did that, but they know already. They know that I am not liable. That my liability would only be zero or something like that. Yeah, so that's a different. So that's a legal stuff. So sometimes one thing could be perceived by the legal system as two different things because of a good reason. So yeah, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Because some states or jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion or the limitation of liability for consequential or incidental damages in such states or jurisdiction, each of its licensors and its affiliates' liability shall be limited to the full extent permitted by law. Okay, C. No guarantees. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, neither Valve nor its affiliates guarantee continuous, error-free, virus-free, or secure operation and access to Steam and content and services, your account and or your subscriptions or any information available in connection therewith. Okay, guys, so there's warranty and there's guarantee. What's the difference between that? Uh, it seems like guarantee applies to the product, um, not the hosting services, the product in particular. The limited warranty and agreement. Certain hardware purchased from FOF is subject to a limited warranty and agreement, or depending on your location, a statutory warranty, which is described in detail here. Hardware limited warranty and agreement local applicability. If you are a consumer who lives in a European Union member country, the United Kingdom, the province of Quebec, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand, this limited warranty and agreement does not apply to you. Instead, you are entitled to the statutory warranties or guarantees provided by your home jurisdiction. Section 60 contains a binding arbitration agreement and class action waiver. It affects how disputes are resolved. Please read it. If you are a consumer who lives in Russia, you may utilize the arbitration process identified in Section 6, or you may use local Russian state courts to resolve your dispute. By buying, receiving, or using the hardware, you agree to this hardware limited warranty and agreement. If you do not agree, do not use the hardware, but return it to FOF for a refund as described in the hardware refund policy, or to retailer in accordance with its return policy. FOF will refund your shipping charges for the least expensive method if you return it to FOF for this reason and you have not used the hardware. This hardware limited warranty and agreement or warranty applies to FOF hardware products, including without limitation FOF Index, Steam Deck, and their related accessory, individually and collectively the hardware. This deemed for all purposes to have been purchased in the country where the original purchaser or purchaser lived when buying the hardware. This warranty is transferable to natural persons who receive the hardware as a gift from the purchaser. Transfer pursuant to the sentence shall not otherwise expand this warranty. Purchaser remains bound to comply with his or her obligations under this warranty, including dispute resolution or binding arbitration or class action waiver. Okay, so we can see the warranty for the product right here, limited warranty, number one, number two, service and return instruction, number three, exclusions, limitations, again, governing law, agreement, pretty much like another terms and condition. Arbitration is also included in the agreement. Um, Okay, the last updated for February 24, 2022. Okay, probably I'm going to get back to that later because there's some other things that I still want to do after I finish the streams, the main Steam subscriber agreement. So let's just proceed with the plan for now. Um, Okay, so the next is number 8. So, okay, probably I'm going to cover number 8. Look, I'm planning to cover it for the next time. So this video is going to be until at this point. So this is will be the checkpoint here. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Please leave a comment in the comment section. I'll see you again if you want. Bye.